Happy Monday, everyone. It's another Meta Monday here at the Hodl fandom, where we take a deep dive into Vivi's metadata. Last week, as I was refining my methods to analyze the data, I also added in some very basic checks. But I immediately saw a handful of suspicious activity, one of which I will present to you all here today. To do that, we need to look at the journey of token 7601172. Now, we don't know exactly what it is because the metadata has not been added to that token. It could be the Marauders comic, which was dropped on the date it was minted, but it could also just have been anything else that just didn't sell out prior to that drop date. Whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. You'll see why. The token was purchased on July 14th, 2022, to the wallet ending in 804B. Now, there's going to be a lot of wallets in today's discussion, and if I talk about one, I'll only refer to them with their last 4 digits. So 804B minted this, nothing suspicious about that. You can follow the trail for yourself on a Mutascan, but I put together a diagram so it's easier for you to understand. October the 13th is when things get kind of fishy. It gets purchased by wallet F982, which is immediately sent to one of what I'm going to call a main wallet, wallet 7416. Every single transaction I will discuss happens within 30 seconds to a few minutes, so very quickly. This main wallet then does an immediate back and forth transaction to wallet 4DC1. I just want to take a second to highlight how difficult this is in a normal environment. If I purchase something from someone in a normal world, they just can't simply and instantly buy it back. I have to first list it, then I have to hope that nobody else buys it, so that means I'm listing it higher than the floor price, but not too high from the average price so it doesn't get flagged by Vivi. We then need that person to buy it back, but that exact same one. So to do that within a few minutes or a few 30 seconds or so is a coordinated effort. And guess what? This back and forth happens over and over and over again. Another interesting note here, a few weeks ago when I dug into the Miles Morales drop, I showed you that small wallets do not equal new wallets. And a much better indicator of how new a wallet is by looking at the first activity in that wallet. In an ideal world, Vivi should have that data on each wallet's creation date, but we don't have that information. So the first transaction date is the best proxy that we have for that information, and it's a pretty reasonable one in my opinion. With that said, all these wallets seem to have been created at or around the same time as this first activity, October the 13th. They all seem to have the same implied creation date. And this goes on quite a bit more. Wallet A7A7 then transfers it to another second main wallet, and it does the exact same thing, the same back and forth to another 12 wallets. Again, each of these transactions being pretty quick, between 30 seconds to a few minutes. This token then gets sent out to a few other wallets, but then gets sent right back to that second main wallet again, and that very quick back and forth action continues. Whoever is running this operation isn't done yet. It gets sent to another cluster of wallets with a third main wallet, and then finally gets sent back to that big second main wallet where that NFT currently resides. I want to highlight a few things here. There are clear batches of accounts. Again, if we use the first transaction date as a proxy for wallet creation date, these have all been created on October the 13th. These here on October the 7th. And these all on August the 30th. There were 2 on September the 30th and 1 on August the 11th, which could mean there are other batches on that date as well that I just simply have yet to find. In fact, all of the older wallets, that's the August 30th and earlier wallets, all have this element of weird and very quick back and forth activity. They even connect with each other outside of this diagram, with wallets 215C and 25D6 doing the same transfer just with another token. All that activity could be a link to another operation, just like this, but I just didn't have the time to uncover that for today's video. I also want to point out there were 71 transactions highlighted here, represented by these 71 arrows. And again, these all happened very quickly from one another. I really tried to find a reason how or why this activity could potentially be legitimate. Now, this can't be family members, this can't be someone's side accounts, which we know people have, but this is an excessive amount. It's beyond what is reasonable or what should be considered reasonable on the app. And while in the past you could have multiple accounts, this is a clear abuse to that. So I can make one for sure conclusion: this is not normal. This is clearly an operation within Veve for reasons I'm not 100% sure on yet, but we'll get into my theories in just a second. Now, I do believe this is run by one individual or a small group due to the very quick intervals between the transactions. One thought is obviously the bots. If this is run by an individual or a small group, definitely that could be a possibility. 3 of these wallets did land a Miles Morales, the B044, 3FAD, and 2E1F accounts. 2 of them did sell it to what looked like normal accounts, but one other did sell it to, it looked like a serial flipper, which did have some odd looking things, but not enough for me to call it out. Now, I have flagged the account, so if it comes up again in any of my future checks, I will call them out then. In conjunction with bots, this movement could be gem laundering, like moving the profits around from the landed Miles Morales drop or any other botted drops. This could be easily confirmed or denied if I just had the dollar amounts in the transactions. So if anyone has an insider on the Veve team, I'll link a copy of this full picture in the description. And if anyone wants to forward it to them, since they have the dollar amounts, they can check it out for themselves. For me, it's great we have that data, but it's like, great, you have everyone's receipts, but they're all ripped in half and I just have the top part with the dollar values missing. Anyways, this could also be gem funding. The older accounts could be funding the newer accounts with gems that were acquired through botting, and then flipping that collectible. Now, this would be done so the new accounts don't get funded with a credit card, which would be a trail to the main culprit, the real person behind this whole operation. It could also be testing to see if these newly created accounts that were KYC'd, if they actually worked, if they did pass the checks on Veve. If they know that they can buy something on the secondary market, they know that they've passed KYC and then therefore they can participate on the drops. Or maybe it's all of the above or a combination of a few. In any case, there's no legit reason for this type of activity. This does highlight some holes in Veve's system. On the one hand, they do have some really good things. They have the initial wall, which is KYC, but then people can walk around that wall by purchasing fake IDs online. That is a real thing. Now, there is bot detection software, which I think is good, but we just don't see the results of that. A big hole in the system is the cash out. As long as they get through that initial wall and they don't do enough to get flagged by the bot software or any other checks, then we lose their scent when they cash out in crypto. Normally in crypto, you can track the token. If someone has some ETH, you can see it and follow it on Etherscan, like I just did with Veve on Immutascan. The problem is we don't have access to what type of crypto people are cashing out and where they are going. What are the wallet addresses? You can create as many Trust Wallet accounts or MetaMask wallet accounts as you want. So we lose that scent right when people cash out. The good news is I've only just started looking at this stuff. We're only on episode number 4 of Meta Mondays. And while yes, I do want to continue to talk about the analytics of the metadata, like what are the whales doing and other trends, detecting fraud will be a part of this continually going forward. The other good news is this really is not complicated. It's just debits and credits. It's not like I have this whole data dump, but I also need to test for proper revenue recognition or adherence to GAAP policies or IFRS. It's just ins and outs, basic debits and credits. There is a lot of data, and I am only one person. But that really just means it's just a matter of time. As Ecomi continues to add more metadata like dollar values, I'll then have more tools. As I continue to evolve and automate my systems, I'll be able to find you quicker. So to anyone out there trying to scam our community, I can say with confidence, I will find you eventually. That's your only warning. Thanks for watching.